Hi there.
Hi, sir.
How you doing?
My name is Charles. I've heard a little bit of your story. I just want to say hi and thank you for your service. It's pretty cool. I have a young man that I mentor who is currently up in Cape May, New Jersey in basic training right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell him the story of meeting him today. He's going to be fascinated by that. He's about halfway through his basic training for Coast Guard. So I just came up and took some pictures to send up to him. He's 17. He's one of the youngest ever gone through their program. So he's really fascinated by it.
When I was 17.
Yeah. Yeah. He just turned 17. He just like boom. So, but he's up there right now in basic right now. So, but thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for doing this.
And
I'm
thank
sorry?
you for mentoring too.
Oh.
It's a big,
Oh, yeah.
Makes a big difference for young
I've got a
people.
group of 15. Well, we between 15 and 18 in a club that I sponsor. This is
Yeah.
the 9th year I've sponsored it. And,
Yeah.
he is from my second group from 9 years ago, so I've been following him
Wow.
all through school and all. So it's pretty
Well,
cool.
well, this fellow in what year? 1952?
56.
1956 started as an enlisted flight engineer in the St. Pete Air Station, and came back at the end of his career and was the second commanding officer at the Clearwater Air Station. So he closed the loop.
Yeah, because they moved from St. Pete to Clearwater.
Yeah.
Could we get his pictures for our newsletter?
I was the second
See
CO
this?
of Clearwater.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
First
We'll
CO.
need name and,
I served with it a couple times before. Ray Copeland. And he moved the air station up to Clearwater. And I relieved him in June of '79.
I like I said, I have the group of boys. They're called BTL, Building Tomorrow's Leaders. Then one of the other ladies that works in the front office with me, she has a group of girls called Girls and Pearls. And every year she takes the girls to the Clearwater Coast Guard Station to show how the girls can get involved in service too. So it's great. We both love the Coast Guard Station and everything. So
There was
she
last
takes every year.
a few years ago at the Clearwater Air Station, we met a husband-wife team
Ah.
that flew.
Mhm.
That's really something.
But yeah, she takes the girls up there every year.
What's that? Oh, tell that
Blackthorn.
story, Dad. The Blackthorn. Where were you in that?
What?
Tell us what you did in the Blackthorn.
Well, I was at the air station, and the night that it sank, we were at they were just ready to start the Havana Cuban race from the yacht club, and they announced they came and got the CO of the group.
Yeah.
So they let me know. So after we adjourned at the yacht club, my ops officer, Wayne Ping Shu, and I went down to help them because he was handling the press, and his other people weren't all that familiar with it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have a plan in place, so we kind of coordinated things and drafted messages
Yeah.
for about 2 hours. So it worked out pretty good.
You told us the story one time of what actually happened, the big ship and the anchor. Do you remember that? You remember telling us at one time about how it actually happened, the anchor?
See, the commercial people tend to drop their anchor right down on the water, so, and they run in the middle of the channel,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. That anchor caught the kayak, the Blackthorn, and rolled it over. And they had just secured a special sea detail. So all they had was the OD on watch on the bridge, the CO and the XO were on the bridge, and the watches, you know. And everybody else was in the mess hall.
In the mess hall below decks.
And so we lost about 25 people.
Yeah. Stay with us if you like.
I'm sorry?
Stay with us if you like. He loves to have somebody to tell stories to.
Yeah.
He has so many stories here, just can't believe it.
on my wood fortune, the whole place once, and then again, third time. But for 3 days, I can't get out of bed, and that's why because I carry it way
Hmm.
for a long way.
You recognize that man?
Oh,
Okay. I know you were more aviation than.
This was while you were CO, the San Key.
I don't think he heard you.
Sad point. Sad key.
You flew this one,
Yep. What number?
1706.
You fly the 1706?
1501.
You remember either of those?
I'm not sure about the 1706.
That may be a later one.
H model. I flew that H models in Kodiak, so I might have flown it in Kodiak. That's an H3, HH3.
Can I get your picture next to that C-130 there?
I'm sorry?
Can I get your picture next to that C-130?
How about you get one with him and maybe one with his daughters in there?
That would be fine.
That's okay, let's just.
Just get him.
Yeah.
You got it.
There you go.
He not only flew them, when the Coast Guard needed to replace all the engines on the C-130s, he ran the program that one by one, they pulled them in, replaced the engines, and saved a few $1 million in the process.
I know they changed them from one type engine to another. They went from like a Allison to something else, or a Cummins to something else.
Oh,
Was that the C-130? Or was that the helicopter?
That was the helicopter that changed the engines.
I knew I remembered something from when I did the research.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never flew the new helicopters. HH-52 was the one I flew. And through the,
Now we do have a thing about, did you ever fly an Albatross?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
We had 2,000 hours or more. That's
We
why
have-
I'm wearing hearing aids.
Well, we have two. We have a painting of one, and then we have this picture here.
Yeah. They used to say that airplane really didn't fly. It makes a damn much noise, Earth moved away from it.
And what else did they?
We used to laugh about it. We'd say, you had full power, and you had time to eat a box lunch and take a nap before you got to take off.
You want to stand there next to those, and I'll take your picture with that one too.
And what was its nickname?
Uh,
What was the nickname?
oh, they called it a goat.
A goat?
Yeah.
Because it was so slow? Or just because?
Primarily.
That talks about the one that flew to Carabel that they lost. The one that,
Yeah.
in the fog, I forget the year, 1967.
Yeah, see, I had served as Dudesdale, one with young third-class petty officers. I did 4 years in the Navy first, and got smart and came in the Coast Guard.
Oh.
In 1955, after finishing my Navy career, I was stationed at the air station at St. Pete as a young AD-3, because the AD-2s were still full from World War II. I was there 1 year, and I took the exam. They should cut the service-wide exam, went on the list for AD2, and 2 years later I moved up the list but didn't quite make it.
Oh, you still didn't make it.
So I went to officers candidate school, and while I was at candidate school, I made second class. And then they commissioned me and gave me a temporary rank of AD1 or rank of ensign, and a permanent rank of AD1. But I served when he stood still when he was in third class, and he later went to C-130 school with me at the Air Force. And he went to Argentina, and I went back to San Francisco. He was the first class then.
And here's the new air station. What looks like new.
Was that St. Pete?
Is that St. Pete or is that the new Clearwater hangar?
St. Pete.
Oh, that's the old St. Pete.
Yeah, that's the old St. Pete hangar.
And is this the flying boat that you guys would use the JTOW assist? No, that's not it.
That's a PBM.
And that's the one you towed out into the water and you towed back in?
No.
Okay.
Do you see the one you?
Do you know the years he served? In the Coast Guard? You said
Good job,
1955.
pal. Here's the details.
1950s. I think it's 55. Like 55 or 56, but we'll confirm it again.
Yeah, got tax right there.
Yes, you do.
Started at the air station, St. Pete came back. How many years later is the commanding officer? So, you know, kind of one of those.
It started and began and ended here. An enlisted guy.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a really nice painting.
That is nice.
Yeah, I don't know who did those, but they did quite a few and lent them to us for the exhibit.
Now, what year did you start in the Coast Guard, Dad?
1955,
55, okay.
And retired in 1980.
82.
Oh, 82, that's right. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. We'll give them those 2 years.
And I never had a staff assignment. I was supposed to go to the engineering office, aviation engineering office. And I had verbal orders for about 3 days, and then they called me and said, we're having a hell of a problem with C-130 maintenance in Kodiak, so we're going to send you to Kodiak. I said, oh, I get to fly airplanes still. Yeah, okay.
But it doesn't matter.
Came out of Kodiak and went to Cape Cod as executive officer. And then I came from Cape Cod back to Clearwater. I had met and married my wife here in '56. And she was so happy that we moved 11 times. And she was so happy to come back to St. Petersburg, Clearwater.
Well, that's very nice.
She was a native here.
She is native to St. Pete. Graduate of St. Pete High and all that.
Ah,
Say, well, we tell them the story about how you pulled a C-130 out of a snowbank up around the Arctic Circle.
Oh, yeah. They probably had landed real short. And they tore the bottom out of the airplane and the left main mount left it laying on the runway. So I was the engineer at Elizabeth City at that time. So it was up inside the Arctic Circle. So we went up and they towed the airplane off the runway. We went up and put the landing gear back. Nobody bothered to tell me that they had ripped a big hole in the bottom.
oh.
So what we did was we got galvanized stovepipe from the land station, cut it with a saber saw, flattened it, put it on with pop rivets. Managed to fly the airplane back to Georgia to have it done. So they thought that was okay.
It was a brand new, that was a brand new
Yeah, the
C-130, wasn't it?
The Air Force said, call me in and what? We
This
turned the
was
log.
a picture of a helicopter
Oh.
they did. It
Oh.
had a problem with its engine in the Bahamas.
Yeah,
And they had to land on this deserted island in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And they had to repair it there. So
Yeah.
they had to fly in others' helicopters and land to be able to fix this helicopter to be able to take it off again
Yeah.
because it was basically stuck out there that
Yeah.
they, we have pictures of the guys swimming in the water there. They were there for like a week
Wow.
to fix
Wow.
the
When I
good.
retired, that's, like Hubbard.
Hibbard, yeah.
Hibbard, he's the mayor now.
Yeah, he
We
was
went
back
to- We
then.
went to the presentation. They had the Coast Guard band here. They
Oh,
had it at Ruth Eckerd Hall. So I got to see that.
yeah, that's where the seal came from, was the seal that was on the front of that podium there.
Wow.
We were able to track it down within the
Nice.
archives of the city to get it for the exhibit.
That'd make a nice patch.
Yeah, that's the commandant, whoever he was at the time.
So, as far as stories go, how about the time your Distinguished Flying Cross?
Well, that wasn't all that bad, it was just bad weather.
Bad weather, huh?
Yeah.
On top of a mountain.
Yeah, I was in the mountains in Washington State.
Well, I'm glad you got to come by today to see it. Very nice. Love your stories.
We're grateful that you're doing this. This is really nice.
Yeah, very nice.
We've had a lot of Coast Guard retired and auxiliary and all kinds of people come by and see it over the last month that we've had it up, and
It's great.
I flew the B-ball, which didn't have the drop tanks primarily throughout my career. I flew the C-130 from 1961 and right up to 82 here. And I think there was about 4 years where I didn't fly the C-130. I did 3 years as an engineer at Port Angeles, Washington. We had U-16 and helicopters there. I did another year, and I got 2 years at Cape Cod. We had U-16s and 2 kinds of helicopters. I amassed about 5,000 hours or so.
wow, that's a lot of flying.
Well, when they were overhauling them, I was in Elizabeth City. And they had some problems, so engineering office and headquarters said, you pick them up and you deliver them down there. So I got to go down and pick up every one out of overhaul.
And then take them back to where they belong.
We'd take them back to Elizabeth City and then the crew would come in and pick them up.
Very nice.
It sounds like an honor, but that's the leader of the overhaul saying, I'm confident enough, I'm going to fly this plane out first. That's how it works.
Well, it's been interesting to learn all this about the Coast Guard,
Yeah.
their ties to the local area.
Is it still the largest air station in the country?
Yes.
Nice. Something to be proud of.
And do you remember the Point Swift? It was the boat that was here in Clearwater, or did you not have much to do with the cutters? Yeah, the Point Swift was the cutter that was here.
after I retired too.
It was here from the 70s till the 80s, and then it went someplace else. Then I think it retired too. You remember if there's more planes over here?
There's, oh, I wonder if this is it.
Older planes over on this side.
No, this is, yeah, there was one that they flew out of St. Pete that they towed on and off the shore with a tractor.
This
And
has some more that landed on the water. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
those are. The framed pictures all came from the air station.
air station,
They
okay.
took them off the wall there to bring them over here so we can show them off.
Yeah, that was the E3 that we had for a while.
What'd you use that for?
drug interdiction, the boats.
Was that the Mariel boat lift you used that for? No?
It was primarily it was after I retired,
Okay.
and shortly after I retired, we had the drug interdiction program.
Yeah.
That thing had quite a range on the radar, of course, and it would dispatch cutters.
Oh, there's the blackthorn.
We didn't have a nice color, it was just black. It came along. Also didn't have all the electronic navigation on it too.
My goodness. Air Station Clearwater, record of inspections, February 23rd, 1989.
Oh, I
Oh,
want
that you were gone by
Yeah, you were
then, that's
gone by
right.
then, yeah.
Oh,
There's
wow.
83,
Yep.
You
No,
were
that's
still go-
93.
93.
89.
I'm sure yours are in a closet somewhere,
don't know,
in a box.
not mine.
Isn't that something?
It wasn't my record to keep.
No.
Yeah. Oh, this was one of your favorite parts, right? The pool exercises, the dunk tanks?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I guess those were the rescue swimmers, weren't they?
There's a Swift. 82-footer.
So is this the inspection record when they would come?
I don't know.
No, when they would come, and that you, under you all, they got like a perfect score when you served?
Well, that was an area inspection.
Okay.
Done by the area in those days.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's a lot of history packed in this room.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's tremendous. You were there to see the start of the rescue swimmer program.
Yeah, though, it was after I left, but Chief Farmer was my Navy chief, and he's the one who started the school.
Okay.
He was rescue swimmer number 6 after he graduated with people. And his son, as a first class, was, I think, rescue swimmer number 10. That's a pretty nice exhibit. Thank you. This is Joe Ackerbo. He was a chief at San Francisco when I was there. This is Hank Pfeiffer. He was lieutenant commander when I was there. George Tomatz was lieutenant commander. He and his brother both graduated from St. Pete High School.
This is Paul Yost, Commandant,
Yeah,
okay?
and we go back a long way too. He was a commander, and he brought the Resolute to San Francisco out of the shipyard when they built it. Wow. And I was in Miami, they sent me to Miami from San Francisco, along with another pilot, Jay Crow. And people from Miami trained the Resolute and us to land on the 210. It was the first 210 coming to San Francisco. So about 3 or 4 months later, when he finally got to San Francisco, I went offshore and practiced landings for them to bring them up to speed. And the next day, I took Admiral Fabic out and landed on them. And it was kind of a big deal. I shut down the helicopter. They came out with 6 side boys, hiked him aboard, and he rode the Resolute into San Francisco. He was area commander.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
And so Commandant Yost
Yeah.
was a graduate of St. Pete
He
High.
was a commander then, yeah, and then, when we lost the, Blackthorn here,
Mm-hmm.
he was the commander of the, I forget what the district number was over in New Orleans. And, I flew over there with the C-130 and picked up the family members to come back here for the dedication and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was tied up with some big sore case, so he sent his wife to represent him, you know. And she was a little shaky about flying it, so I had her up on the flight deck in the navigator's seat, so she felt a little better up there. You know, no claustrophobia.
Mhm.
The vice commandant was trying to get me to come do another job for him. I managed to get airplanes delivered early that had been late before, and I did a good job at the air station there, I guess. And he wanted me to come to headquarters and get the new helicopter going. They've been having problems with that. And my wife and I sat down and I said, you know, I've got over 30 years. And if I go to this job, I'm going to fly out on Sunday or Monday, and I'm going to spend Monday through Friday out in Texas at the factory. I'm going to fly back. I said, besides that, I don't want to move anymore. She said, me either. So I quit.